to be an actor. Means people used to tell me, assistant directors and some other directors, that why don't you become a writer? Means why should I become a writer? I'm a trained actor. Or why don't you become an assistant director? But actor, please don't even think about it. And there were days that I spent on the railway platform. I'm not trying to sort of romanticize my hardship days, but the only thing that kept me going, because I had decided to be happy. When you decide to be happy, you see even that misery from a great point of view. I thought, okay, I'm going through this where I'm staying for every night for 27 hours on a railway platform, but when I become somebody, I will talk about this story. And that's exactly today. I'm telling you about a story which at that time was my miserable days, lack of dignity, humiliating experiences. So when I came to suddenly the shooting of New Amsterdam was interrupted and we had to finish at the 19th episode. Right from Newark Airport to Mumbai, the whole experience was as if I'm in a movie which is about a disaster movie. The people at the airport in Newark, there was a fear lurking around. Even in the aircraft, I was the only passenger in my class with the mask, and the staff, the air hostesses and the purser, they were wearing uh, this PPT kit, and it's a 16-hour flight. And when I come to Mumbai, the Mumbai is a thriving city. At the airport, it means I suddenly felt there was a sadness and cold feeling that I was getting. And when I come home, there are a lot of people. My domestic help comes down. My good friend Anil Kapoor stays next to my house, and he comes out. I first go to his house, but I was told not to come here. My son came from his room, and we did this elbow shaking kind of a thing, and he also was a little skeptical that I've come from New York after a long flight. I hope he does not get. First 2 3 days, it was it was not something that I had experienced in Mumbai. And then slowly, I started feeling that I had never heard birds chirping in Mumbai. I had never heard silence in Mumbai. I had never seen a blue sky in Mumbai. I had never seen empty roads. So I started appreciating that rather than feeling depressed about it. So I started thinking that no, this is some kind of a purgation. This is some kind of a cleanliness. There were men and people were inside their house. There were cages, and animals were roaming on the streets freely. So it was their time to feel freedom. Then I discovered that we have really taken this earth for granted. So I started feeling better about it, and I started breathing. And also, my yoga teacher used to say, pranayam is all about noticing your breathing. Meditation is noticing about breathing. And I started noticing my breathing, because we are otherwise in this world running fast nowhere. So I did that, and I had not met my mother for 8 months, and I suddenly could not meet her because I was quarantining. And then finally I met her for one day, that also from outside, and she told me that she doesn't feel hungry. There's a pain in her near her liver, and we took her to get an MRI done. Instead of the doctor telling me that her MRI is fine, he said we've discovered she has COVID.
Wow.
And it was frightening. She's 84, and me and my brother had got, so automatically we thought we must also get it done. So my brother also got his MRI done, and I also got my MRI done, and my brother was positive and I was negative. I have never felt guilty in my life. The two of my family members closest to me, and then we got done for my sister-in-law. Now how do I cope with it? Because my mother is helpless. She has just come for a first time out of this pandemic. She's come for a drive, thinking that her sons are taking for a drive, and she's getting some MRI done. And I'm telling her, now we'll have to take you to the hospital. And that also, she's saying, why isn't my brother coming? I said, no, he has to stay back. Again, this whole system of positivity about this decision to be happy, that everything will be fine, nothing to worry about, that had to be practiced. Thank God for the practice of 50 years that I had practiced to be happy. So I always believe that positivity and optimism is a choice you have to make. When I see your videos, when I see what you talk about, it's a choice you have made to be optimistic. That doesn't mean that you and I don't feel depressed. That doesn't mean that we don't feel setbacks. That doesn't mean that we don't feel sad. But we have trained ourselves, you more than I, because I'm also living different roles I'm doing. So that is what then my deaths of my very dear friends, Rishi Kapoor, Irfan Khan, my other music director. Again, I started making some videos where I'm talking about them in a different manner. It's not escape. A lot of people say that maybe you're escaping. No, I am going through the sadness. I'm going through the self-pity, but then I have to survive. So these are the things that I have gone through. Now death has become it's so frightening that death in today's time has become so common that it stopped shocking us. So how do you recover from all this? Is that you find your own strength from within you and you say that I have to live optimistically and I have to decide that I have to choose my own happiness. So maybe that was a long answer to a small question, but I needed to go through it. I also want to tell you one more thing, that to me it's important to communicate, and because I don't want to sound intelligent, because that my answers will be crafted. I can't craft anything. I can only speak from what I experience.
Yeah. No, that's a beautiful answer. It wasn't long at all. And it reminds me of some losses I've had this year. So we lost a lot of my family friends, my parents' age, back in London this year. And first of all, I was sharing this with you before, but I want to share again my love and condolences with you and your family for your friends and others that you lost and the challenges, because we need that love and kindness in the world today. But I lost one of my spiritual mentors passed away this year. He didn't pass away. Yeah, he didn't pass away from COVID, but he passed away from stage 4 brain cancer, which he was struggling with for 2 or 3 years. And he was an amazing, amazing human being. And there were two things that you learn from these experiences. One of them was that even though he had brain cancer, where he lost his short-term memory and he was losing parts of his long-term memory, this is to amplify your point of preparation. You said you were able to create this mindset because for 50 years you've practiced it. So for
somebody, it heals you. And that is the best way to go about it. Every day, every morning that I used to get up, and I still get up, I feel thank you, I've woken up. In our philosophy, when you moment you get up, you just do this thank you. It's a very instinctive reaction that we do. And even at night before we go to sleep, we say thank you. That the fact that I'm breathing, so thank you. I'm very sorry about your loss, but I can feel it. Another person who I worked with committed suicide, Sushant Singh Rajput, whose father I played in a film called Dhoni. That whole thing. So there was a sense of loss which was happening, and I didn't want to sort of feel mechanical about it, and it was every day was a little difficult, but the book became my therapy. I started writing about my experiences, and that started making me feel better. And today, when I was coming from Chandigarh to Mumbai, I was reading my book all over again. I said, Jay Shetty is talking to me today. I better know my book well. And I was very happy that I hope it makes a difference in somebody's lives. When Mr. Kaul was talking about the amazing fan following you had, because you connect with people, and you don't connect with people on a supernatural or superficial manner. You connect as a person to person. Connectivity with people cannot be faked. People who pretend don't like themselves. That's why they want to be somebody else. I like myself. I have my own faults. I have my own shortcomings. I'm sure everybody has them.
Me too.
People, yes, people when I made it in the first film that I did, I was 28. I played a 65-year-old man. Then I had a typical. We used to call them managers. We used to call them secretaries. He came up to me and he said, "Mr. Kher, now you should wear a wig because no actor in India is a bald actor." I said, "Are you mad? If I wear a wig, I will constantly be thinking, I hope this fan is not running, going to go faster. I hope that I will be a petrified person." So the only thing that I've done is I've tried to be myself, and it gives me power.
Yeah.
Because when you are yourself, then there is nothing to worry about. And Mr. Kaul about mentioned about a play that's based on my autobiography called Kuch Bhi Ho Sakta Hai. Anything is possible. I talked about all the shortcomings that I went bankrupt in the middle of my successful career. I had facial paralysis in one of the biggest blockbusters while the shooting was going. The moment I spoke about it, the world had nothing to frighten me with. World tries to frighten you with what you're trying to hide. If you're not hiding, then they have nothing to frighten you with. So I think that is what the theme of this book is. That is what I'm trying to convey. And it's a very simplistic book. I feel very proud when I see your books at the airport, the one you wrote recently. Amazing. I feel very happy. I have got number of awards, but when my book was climbing the charts, I was feeling so thrilled. I will take pictures with everybody. I will stop at every bookshop and pretend. Means Anupam Kher, who has done 500 films, I will stop at the bookshop and say, uh, "Do you have this book called Best Thing About You?" And it will be so ridiculous. And then I will pretend to sort of do that. Then I say, "This is my book." So I think it's the joy of coming from a small town is that you never lose your sense of wonder.
Yeah.
I still have, at the age of 65, a great sense of wonder. I still feel how is it possible that you are in LA, Mr. Kaul is in New York, and I am in Mumbai, and we are still able to communicate.
Yes,
But the
absolutely.
communication is happening on a level of person to person.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I'm hoping that the same thing will happen with your best days today. I was thinking that your message, and by the way, I love what you were saying, that the writing the book was your therapy. I think expression and art are so much needed in our lives. And the good thing about them is that they're free for people to write, or for people to draw or paint or to think or to have a conversation or create music or to play an instrument. These are phenomenal therapies, and they're phenomenal healers in the world that are free for each and every one of us. And I love that you're saying that this book has just come from the heart to you, just what you're experiencing. And I think that's what we need to connect with right now, is to not push aside our human experience. Often we try to suppress our human experience because we think we should be experiencing something better, that something more. But actually, to experience the human emotion is far more the higher path, which is what you're encouraging us to do. So I really thank you for that. And also the idea that when we say your best day is today, when you start your day in that way and you end your day in that way, you're now looking for the best in that day. You're looking for these opportunities in that day. And I can, even in my life, you were mentioning my book. My book was meant to come out in April. It then got pushed back to September because of the pandemic. And then I didn't get to go. I had a world tour. I was meant to travel the world, and India was the place I wanted to come to so badly. I was so excited to come to India because I've always come to India spiritually, but I'd never come to India for any of my work. I've never come to India for my career. And so I was so excited to come to India. And then I didn't get to come, but I realized, and this is a message from your book, that I could practice my purpose and service from anywhere. I wasn't limited by the world we live in, that still I could find a way to serve and be grateful and live my purpose and help people because of the internet and because of Wi-Fi, as you said. There are so many other ways to support people. Tell us about, Anupamji, some of the...
Can I ask you a question, please, before?
Oh, yeah.
How did you think of the title of your book, Think Like a Monk?
the way I thought of the title, so the title came to me around 4 years ago. So I lived as a monk for 3 years, which was from 2010 to 2013. And in 2016, when I started making videos and content online, and I started thinking about a book idea, and the idea came because I was fascinated by the daily principles and practices that monks had.
Yes.
And they included everything from gratitude to inspiration to meditation to yoga to pranayam to all of these daily habits that monks had. And then I looked into the science behind the brains of monks. And all the scientific studies from the universities in the United States show that monks have the happiest, most joyful, and most present minds in the world. And so I thought this science and these practices, if everyone can practice them, if everyone can learn to not live like a monk, but think like a monk.
Think like a monk. Wow, that's amazing.
To have that access. That's where it came.
Thank you. Thank you. Wonderful. It's I love the title, and I love how you speak and how you communicate with people. Yes.
But I wanted to ask you about this. You write and you share in in your work. You talk about this wonderful sharing. I believe it's a poem by Kalidas, and it says, "Look to this day, for it is life, the very life of life. In its brief course lie all the verities and realities of your existence." I thought that was an extremely, extremely beautiful poem to share in your work. Where else have you found this fascination with being present? Where have you felt the most present in your life? Was it on a role you were playing? Was it on a flight you were on? Where have you felt that joy in being present in your life?
You know, when we were younger, we were 14 in a small room. We were 14 people in a small room. And my father was the only earning member, and he used to earn 90 rupees per month, which is $1.50. But we were happy. I never felt that we were miserable. Nobody complained. We had our own issues, family politics, etc. One bathroom, one towel for so many people. One day I asked my grandfather, I said, "Grandfather, we are very poor. Why are we happy?" His answer changed my life. He said, "When you are very happy, the cheapest luxury is happiness." It was as simple as that. And also the Hindi film songs of earlier, of 60s, when I was growing up. There's a very beautiful song. Chodo kal ki baatein, kal ki baat purani, naye daur mein likhenge, milkar nayi kahani, hum Hindustani. Means forget about past. Forget about everything. किसी की मुस्कुराहटों पे हो निसार, किसी का दर्द मिल सके तो ले उधार, किसी के वास्ते हो तेरे दिल में प्यार, जीना इसी का नाम है. The Hindi film music of Raj Kapoor, of old songs, helped us. That's why cinema in India is so much within people. How we are part of people's lives, because I have grown up listening to those songs. So that made me feel that today is important.
Yes.
Apart from my mother telling us, today is your most important day, today is your best day.
I'm so glad.
It is. It is. When I finally made it and I got into, in my first week, I signed 57 films in first week. Because I was so hungry for work, I said, I will do it every day to get up. And I also believe that life is 80% monotony and 20% excitement. We cannot live every day on an excitement. This thing, monotony. It is. My father went to the same office for 36 years, leave at 8 o'clock, come back at 7 o'clock as a clerk in the forest department. But he was happy. We make ourselves unhappy by thinking. My father also used to say that you can feel very happy by thinking how many people are worse than you, and you can feel very unhappy by thinking how many people are better than you. So I'm happy to be Anupam Kher, because my graph does not start last year, how much money did I pay for income tax. I still think that on the 3rd of June 1981, I came to this city with 37 rupees.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
I want to show you my book now, finally.
Please, please. I'd love to see it. This is the big moment. And wow, look at that. You look great. And you've got a
Yeah.
big beard, I see.
Yes, I did a film for that. I had started growing. Growing this beard. So this is my baby, third baby, and it's a great thing that you have spoken to me. It will, I'm sure, reach millions of people, and it will make a difference in people's life. Talking to you has made a difference in my. You have such a vibrant, clean smile. That's what is so nice about you. You are so real. That's what is so amazing about you. And I think I feel fortunate that you have said yes to this conversation. When I finish this conversation, I'll be a richer person.
No, you're
And
very.
I'm not saying it just.
I have one more question for you actually that I wanted
Yes,
to ask you
yes.
because I think this is important. It's that, and you've been so gracious and kind to me on this. I cannot wait to meet you and give you a hug, and I cannot wait for many more people to read your book because I can only see it benefiting people, and I really hope that just the parent said to you, it's amazing how these such simple statements, these simple sentiments can actually become the most powerful training for the mind. But this is the first time you haven't worked in 36 years for 8 months. Like
Yeah.
this is the first time you haven't been able to be externally creative on a movie set or, preparing for a movie. What does that feel like? Tell us about that, because that's 36 years is longer than I've been alive. So it's an incredible amount of time to be working and being creative in your passion.
So I have actually not taken an off for 36 years. You will never find out that I went for a month for a holiday, because I had such frightening 3 years of one at the time when I was looking for work. I went through so much of humiliation or whatever it means. Even though I was living it, but that I said I will never stop working. So I will create work if suppose I was not shooting. But for 8 months to not work was cathartic. Was was like yoga. Was like pranayam. I,
Mm. Yes.
please do that. What you wrote, please do that. So I just I did not know, because I'm so used to working. I'm so used to going somewhere. Um, I'm so used to wanting to do things, and here I was doing nothing. So I created work. I wrote this book. I felt the importance of pause in your life. In theater and in theater mostly, they say pregnant pause is very important. An actor, how much he can hold a pause, it makes depends on how great he is as an actor. But in life, pause means rethinking. Pause means getting energy. I'm a completely different person. Completely different person in 8 months. Better person. I actually listen now. But when you have so much to say, I made you listen to me so much, but I also listen to you. So that gave me. I'm not in a hurry to prove myself. In this profession, in my profession, which is acting, you're constantly wanting to prove things to yourself also. I am my own measure of deciding how brilliant I am, but not necessarily externally now. I did a film recently called, in this pandemic, I made a film also, produced it and acted in it, called The Last Show. It's about an actor who without work.
Oh, wow.
And yes, and I did not depend on the tools of an actor. I just performed, and I had such great time. Means I for the heck of the world, it's important that we go back to the kind of world. But I think the world that we will go back to will be a much better world now.
Yeah. Yeah.
I believe in that. So I did that. I made content 10th grade. There are 56 boys in that picture. I almost called up 40 of them and reconnected with them. I
Wow.
could believe that. Yes, I found my oldest friends and reconnected with them.
Yeah.
So that would have never happened.
That's incredible. I love that. That's such a great idea. I hope everyone who's listening and watching this will take a moment to do these. These are beautiful gems of ideas and exercises and practical things we can do today to actually make it different. And I think what you were saying before about how you think we'll move into a better world, I definitely connect with you on that, because I think our greatest challenge as humans is we always want to go backwards. We have this nostalgia of the good old days. And even though there is truth in the good old days, in the sense that there were wonderful experiences, if we're attached to these old memories, we can never create new, powerful experiences. It's just not possible. And so I'm with you on that. I truly believe that. And I'm so grateful that someone like you, with so much wisdom, so many years of creating entertainment that has served so many people and brought joy to so many people's lives, that you're leading this movement and this mission of helping people think differently. Because you reminding people of this in your today, I've laughed so much on this conversation. We're talking about something so important, but you've made me laugh like a million times on this call. And I think that is your genius, that is your superpower, and that is your special gift that you have for all of us, that you can help us think about these very deep topics, but you can make us laugh along the way. And that is your genius and superpower, Anupam ji. And I'm grateful
that's wonderful. That's wonderful, because I think the easiest thing in the world is to take yourself seriously, and the easiest thing is also not to take yourself seriously.
Yes.
Means if I was sitting here and talking to you, actually in cinema, when I internalize my emotion, what comes out of my emotion is the therapeutic. I will go mad. I will rather have a conversation where I'm looking for. I think in Hindi. So while this is the longest I've spoken in English. Seriously. So I feel it's wonderful to be able to communicate. It's wonderful to be yourself. I think it's fantastic. Yeah. My father also used to say the easiest thing in the world is to make somebody happy.
Yeah.
I just follow that.
Wow.
I just follow that. Yes.
Well, whenever anyone asks me if I can speak Hindi, I always say that I speak Bollywood Hindi, because I learned Hindi by watching Bollywood.
So can we do the last 2-3 lines in Hindi?
I mean, I'll try, but
let's do that.
You're gonna hear my English accent through it the whole way.
Doesn't matter. It will be. I will really cherish this conversation. तो क्या आप क्या सोच रहे हैं? आपकी किताब का नाम?
मेरी किताब का नाम
Correct था. You were right.
मैं सोच रहा हूँ कि आपके साथ बात करने से मेरे दिल में बहुत खुशी आती है, और मैं बहुत आभारी हूँ आपके लिए, और आपकी बुक read what do you say? Read. पढ़ने.
You know the word आभारी?
Yes.
That is in itself a golden moment in this conversation. Jay Shetty, ladies and gentlemen, Jay Shetty just now used the word आभारी, और आभारी वर्ड इस्तेमाल करने के लिए अनुपम खेर Jay Shetty का आभारी है. That's amazing. That's amazing.
So it's Bollywood. I think with a bit of practice, I don't get to speak Hindi at all. So if with a bit of practice, maybe I would. Maybe
you and Radhika should decide that once in a month for 1 hour you will only speak in Hindi. Yeah. That's how I learned to speak in English. When I came to Mumbai, I discovered that in Mumbai everybody needs to be speaking English. That's how people take you seriously. So I wrote to my uncle, who was the only graduate in our family, and I said, Chacha, how do I learn to speak in English? Because I could write English, I could read, means I could read Chekhov to Tennessee Williams to Arthur Miller, but I couldn't speak. So he said the only way you can learn speaking in English is by speaking in English.
Yes.
So I decided that every day between 4 and 6, I will only speak in English. So between 4 and 6, all my friends used to run away from me. And that's how I learned to communicate. So just decide that you will do. It's so wonderful to be able to speak Hindi, and a language that I'm sure your forefathers did think about or did talk.
Yeah, just from watching Bollywood, that's how it came through.
That's amazing. The reach of Hindi cinema or Bollywood is so phenomenal. We connect hearts.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I couldn't agree more. And I thank you again. I'm so deeply. I love how this has evolved. This whole conversation has evolved into this beautiful, spontaneous exchange, and my heart is filled with joy for this exchange. It's so.
And
rare.
I want to thank you and I want our listeners and viewers to know that it took us 1 hour to get connected because of some technical problems, and all three of us, Mr. Kaul and Jay, was patient enough to wait for 1 hour. So this conversation has happened after we were frustrated for 1 hour. Please keep this portion, because I want the world to know that kuch bhi ho sakta hai. Anything is possible, but if the hearts are pure and if the communication is truthful, then it will reach you, and we will somehow or the other find that path.
Exactly. Absolutely. Well said. Well said. And yeah, it was a joy. It's a true joy to do this. It's such meaningful work. It's what I said to you at the beginning, that it's not just because of what you've achieved and your amazing career and the hardship you've been through and all the challenges that you share in this book, your previous books, but it's also because this book is there to do such meaningful work, especially in this year. So if you've had a difficult year and you're watching this, if you've had a challenging year and you're listening to this, then I urge you, I compel you to please go and get a copy of the book. Your best day is today. There can be no better mantra to live by. There can be no better motto to live by. When you repeat it to yourself, you'll repeat it to your children, you'll repeat it to your partner. Imagine everyone else will remind you of the same thing in your hard times. So I urge you all to go and grab your copy.
And when you come to India to finally promote your book, I'll be your official manager.
Perfect.
I will personally take you to the whole world and show you off to the world. Every event. That's a commitment I'm making to you today. Just inform me much in advance and I will do it personally.
Okay. We should do the same when you come to LA.
Absolutely, I will do that.
Yeah,
I will do that.
When you come to LA, we'll do exactly the same thing. So it'll be great. Thank you, Anupamji. Thank you so much. I'm so honored and grateful, and my heart is just filled with joy. You've made me smile and laugh more in this 1 hour than I have in a long time. So it's really.
Thank you. I'm so happy. Give my regards to your family. Say namaste to your parents.
I will.
And give my love to your lovely wife. Yes. And stay safe. And yes, it's been a pleasure talking to you. And I want to thank you for being so wonderful. It comes easily to you.
Thank you. I look forward to meeting you, and let's talk more. Yes.
And Anupamji and Jay, on behalf of IAAC, Shukriya, Dhanyavad, Asiba, thank you. And in Kashmiri, for you, Anupamji, Posht. And I would only make one humble request. And Jay, if you can just pick up a copy of your book, just please get a copy of your book. And Anupamji, I would like the world to see a copy of you holding that last shot. I want the world to see how both of you, through your life's work, not only make us smile, but you tell us that when the mind is overwhelmed by the world around it, the heart is always there. And when even the heart sinks, the Atma, the life energy is there. And you are showing us how to connect with it. This has been one of the greatest.
Can you take a screenshot of this picture?
Yeah, and send it to me as well, please.
Thank you so much, Kaul sir, for this amazing opportunity. I want to thank everybody in Koshur, and I want to bless my friend Jay in Kashmiri, Orzu Aayat Bat. That's amazing, and thank you so much. I'm very humbled. Thank you. God bless you.
Right, you're the best. Thank you, everyone behind the scenes as well. Janak and Rakesh
Yes.
and everyone else who is behind the scenes. Thank you for all your hard work. Thank you, everyone. Bye.
Yeah. Okay.
Bye. Bye, Jay. Thank you.
Bye.
Hello, I'm Neeli Lakhani, IAAC Literary Festival Director. I want to thank you for joining our award-winning authors and their wonder stories. IAAC is a 501c nonprofit. Programs like the one you just watched happen because of contributions from generous folks like you. Please donate to the IAAC so that we can support our artists and sustain our cultural programs. It is simple to donate by visiting the IAAC website at iaac.us. Learn about the insider benefits that membership gives you. On behalf of the entire IAAC board, stay safe and see you at our next event. Thank you.